guys, I'm back. Let's do this. What we're gonna do? We're gonna try some typography with Blender. So that's the title. 3D type with Blender. I'm gonna put Blender 3D, so you know what I mean. That's what we're gonna do right now. Okay, so let's get right to it. So the beats that you've been hearing is stuff that I've made over the past several months to a year. So hope you're enjoying it. You know, it helps me to avoid any kind of copyright issues and stuff like that. You know, so I think it's pretty. You know, it works for what it is I need it to work for. Okay. All right. So this is the Blender portion of the xsinick show. Okay. So let's see. Let's jump right in. Let's jump right into this. So, go if you haven't used Blender before. You could get Blender by going to blender.org. And here where it says download Blender, you go here and you download Blender. Blender is a 3D application to create 3D graphics, rendering, and animation. And you could also use it for many other things, like you could use it for video editing and compositing. You know, one of these days, if you're interested, just leave me a comment and let me know if you're interested in me exploring the different parts of Blender. I don't know every single thing in Blender because they've been adding a whole lot of features even more and more recently. More and more features, but just fire Blender up. But I do know some of the basics and fundamentals enough to be a little dangerous with it. I originally started 3D using a bunch of different 3D tools. One of the main ones I used, and I still use professionally, is 3D Studio Max. Maya also. I've used Cinema 4D. And I've used some older stuff like Infinity, Specular Infinity, Bryce. Man, you know, there's a whole lot that was out there at the time. I've also used Softimage XSI, which was a really amazing tool. And I think Blender, when they ordered to stop Softimage, they a lot of people crossed over into using Blender and Maya. So, all right, guys. So let's jump right to it. So first of all, in order to do typography, you kind of need some type. So let's see what kind of type we have. So Blender, you could use your system fonts, which is pretty good. That's kind of what you want. Okay, so for me, I'm just turning down the music just a little bit for me. And a little bit for you also. Alright guys, so let's get in there. I wonder why my mic audio is so low. I don't understand. Is this... Okay, is that better? Okay. Yeah, my mic audio should be like technically blasting. So... I'm just gonna check this real quick. Okay. Let's just check these advanced audio properties. Seems fine. Okay. Use about a couple 3 decibels or something. See if that works. Okay. Alright guys, so let's jump right in here. So we have Blender in an empty scene. I'm gonna turn my screen cast keys so you could, you know, hopefully see the shortcuts I'm pressing. And I'll try to talk through as much as I can. Okay, so let's try some type in Blender. So press 7 on the numpad to get into the top view and press Shift Control A, and we're gonna add some text. So that's the type object. It's called text. Off to the side here, you have your properties panel. which is pretty interesting, right? You have all these different icons for the different kinds of properties. If you hover your mouse over, it'll tell you what property it is, like workspaces right here. Right here is render properties. Right here is output properties, and so on and so forth. We're going to go all the way down to this A right here, and that's for the object. You know, your object for the different objects you create shows up in this kind of green icon. So because this is text, there's like an A. Just kind of showing you that's text. Okay, so let's change the font. So if you go here in font, and because I'm on Linux, it's a little bit different. I guess Windows would take you straight to the fonts that you need because it would read the Windows fonts. Blender right now is defaulting to a Blender, to the font that's packed into Blender. That's what I'm thinking. So, and it says this 5 right here shows you that there's 5 things that are using it. So I'm gonna click here and go here and try to find the fonts on Linux. Which should be easy. Let's just do this in a nice little list, and let's just scroll down the list right here. And there's a fonts folder. Let's go in here. So there's a different kinds of fonts, and some fonts that I put in myself. Let's check out TrueType fonts. Okay, so we have a bunch of different fonts. So here it previews the font. So I'm going to use this font called Noto. You could use any font that tickles your fancy. I'm just going to use this font here. I'm going to open font, and immediately you see it changes to that font right here. If you click here, if you go here again, it'll go back to that Blender font. If you click here, it'll go back to that Noto Sans mono font. Okay, so let's do something interesting. So in order to type, you have to press tab to edit it, and then you could type just like you would anything else. So what can we, let's do some stylization to this font in 3D. So let's see what we could type here. Let's do, let me think. What should we type? Let's try XSI. XSI. You could do it like that. Let's try lowercase, see what that looks like. Oh, I like that. So that's for me. You could type whatever you want. Well, let's see what else we could do with this. So right here, there's a bunch of different options. Let's go through each one and just see what they offer. You have the resolution preview. So let's press Z. Let's go to wireframe, and this I think is the resolution. Yep. So if we turn that up, it smooths out the S and all that sort of stuff. So let's put that at 30, and this is the resolution for the rendering, right? Let's leave that alone for now. Text space, so it's gonna do auto texturing, and this is for geometry. Now this geometry controls different aspects of the font. Okay, you have different kinds of bevels. So I'm gonna hold shift and go into a 3D mode here. Let's go back here. Okay, so you have a taper object. That's for when you're doing, you have offsets and extrudes. So if you do the offsets, it can make it thicker or skinnier. It just offsets the edges of the font. You don't want to touch that. Extrude actually gives you extruded text, like 3D text. See that? It extrudes it in both axes like this. Okay, so taper, override, multiply. So this is different things for the different tapering, stuff, right? So we have these bevel options here. So we have rounded, so we can make the bevel rounded, the depth of it, and you could raise up the resolution of that, of how rounded the edges are. See, it makes it look kind of poofy. Okay, so it's rounding the 3D edges, the profile of the edge actually, and you can use object in order to control how this you know, the object, let's see what the object is. Determine how to build a curved bevel geometry through an object. But then you also have profile, right? So profile now is something that they added recently, and this controls the way it's gonna be handled. So if I do like that, let's put some depth on that. All right, so this is the depth. Adds a little bit of resolution to this. Okay, now you're seeing like, now when, because of the resolution, when I affect the profile, you could see the effect on the text, the effect the profiling has on the text. Do sharp right here and sharp right there. See what we get. So see, it gives it that nice kind of beveled look. So this out of the box with Blender, you can do pretty nifty things like this. Gives it a little bit more resolution. You could try for a different kind of bevel by adjusting the profile. Okay, sample straight edges. See, so it wants to add a sampling to that. Sample even lengths. Let's take a look in the wireframe. See if that. So you see it's giving it sample straight edges. Do that again. See? Sample even lengths. So it's just adding more resolution on there, which is sampling. Okay, let's come here. Let's do something like this. Square it out like that. So that's pretty interesting. You could do something like that. So out of the box, there's different profiles and different things you could use for text. Let's go back to round. Let's turn the extrude down, and let's turn that offset to 0 again. Oh, let's turn the depth down to 0. Resolution 0 again. Okay, so I'm gonna do something a little bit different. Let's try to use just some basic modeling techniques. So to convert this into an object that you could actually use for different modeling techniques, you convert the text object into a mesh, and by going to object, convert, and mesh, right? And now I'm gonna press tab, and you notice that we could actually edit the object. So what I'm gonna do, I'm just gonna select all the edges of the object to produce a style that I want to use for this text. Right, so this is going to be pretty interesting. I'm going to try to replicate a style back here. So we want to select all the outer edges. So let's select everything and let's go to edge. Oh, sorry, selection. And then we're going to go over to let's see. It's interesting. Boundaries, select boundaries. So we want to select all the boundaries. Actually, there may be some wackiness going on. So to prevent any wackiness, what I'm gonna do is just manually select the outer edges by holding Shift Alt. That allows you to select loops. and the loop would be the outer edge of the text. So I'm just going to go through, I'm holding Shift and Alt and clicking, and I'm selecting the outer edges that way. Boundary would also work. You could try it and it should work for you. Okay, so it seems like I got all the outer edges. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to separate that. So I'm going to go Shift D to make a duplicate. Then I'm going to press P to make to separate the duplicate away. And we're only doing the edges. Everything else, like the fuller text, oops, we're going to get rid of that. So we just have the outer edge like this. So to make sure that this outer edge is working, we're going to select the outer edge, press Tab to edit, go to vertex mode, select A, and we're just going to do a Alt M to do like a merge distance. Alt M, merge by distance, and make sure it's a very low distance. Click here and you'll see right here the distance. You just want to merge any straggling vertices. Alright, and what we're going to do now, we're going to extrude just the edges by pressing going into edge mode. You don't necessarily have to go into edge mode, but let's go into edge mode to keep things simple. And then press E and Z, and I just want that kind of hollow text. That's what I want. That's what we're trying. This is where we're going with this, guys. Let's just press G for grabbing that extra edge, and let's just go up a little bit higher. So this is what I want. So let's go over. Let's come out. Let's press Tab. Let's take a look. So now we're gonna stylize this, right? So let's see what we want. What else we want to do? I think we want to kind of knock out these faces that hold it together. So let's knock out these faces, and we're just going for something stylized, right? This is something we're making for an image. Stylized text with Blender. Right? Let's just knock out all the things that will make it into a solid shape. Something like that. Oops, excuse me. Accents go faces. There we go. Right, so we're gonna keep the circle like that. All right, so what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna lay a camera down. We're gonna look for a really nice angle, and we're gonna just do things based on that angle, right? So let's do Shift A and go camera. Now now that you made a camera, you could press 5 and 0. You're gonna do camera mode, and in the camera mode, you want to use navigation and you want to use walk navigation. I assigned a key to it, which is Shift F. So I'm going to do my Shift F, and now I could like move it around like a first person, like like you would in a first person game. I'm going to look for a good angle on this. And we're going to look for an angle that's as readable as we could get it, and at the same time, right? And at the same time different, right? Let's go this way. Yeah. Let's do something like this. I think this is good. Let's go a little bit higher. Alrighty. Now I'm gonna go for a square image. So with that said, now that we have this kind of starting to set up, I'm gonna make my dimensions of my camera a little square. So still gonna be big. So let's go 20, 10, 20. So I'm going to go 1028 by 1028. And what I'm going to do, I'm also going to make a cube in here. So let's call this xsinick type style. So this is a type style tutorial. I'm going to save this into tutorials folder. And we're gonna lay a new folder down, call it 3D text. Plus exercise type style. Okay, save that. Oh, yeah, I want to name the same thing too. Exercise type style. That's what we're doing. Okay. I think this should be a lot closer. But let's lay our cube in here. So I'm just gonna lay a cube down like so. Right? And with the cube, we're gonna press tab to select the cube, right? And then you're gonna press G for grab, and then type Z and then 1, and that brings, what that does is bring the cube up to the height of the this grid right here. So that's what we want to do. So I'm just gonna delete these 3 faces right here. So I'll make kind of like a room. I'm just gonna go delete faces, right? And in to the top here, make sure you have backface culling on so you could see if your cube is faces are facing the camera and they're not. So because we're seeing the inside, and computers normally don't draw the inside, so we're going to go Alt N and we're just going to flip that, right? Alright, so we got a lot of work on our hands to do to have this set up really nicely. First of all, you could do a lot of stuff with the camera, right? So let's go into the camera. Let's select our camera. I'll go into our camera view here, and it's right now it's 50 millimeters focal length. See perspective, and I think let's go here. I think Blender has different profiles. Let's see if we can find any. Okay, so autographic. Okay, let's see. Okay, here we go. Different profiles there. Okay, so let's just go with 55. Normally 60 to me looks great. A 60 millimeter type thing. Let's stick with that. And I'm gonna do my Shift F again to be able to control my camera. And I'm using the arrow keys, the ASWD, in order to navigate around this. Okay, I'm looking for a really nifty view here of this. I think I ought to be looking directly at a point like this. Just come down a bit. Let's go halfway here, halfway there. Okay, I think this works. This works right here. And now we're going to select, in this view, we're just going to select quickly. So in Blender, we could split views, right? So in order to split your view, you know, you could just put your cursor up here to the corner until it changes into this crosshairs. and hold shift. Oh, not shift, sorry. No, you can just drag it now. So yeah, that's fine. So I'm just gonna drag it here. Get rid of the extra elements of the UI. And we're just gonna like just look at this like this. And I'm gonna select my camera and see right here under the camera properties, there's something called viewport display, and where it has pass part out. Let's just turn that up so we just see only the image of what we want. And in this view here, I'll just press 5 on the keyboard to get back like with the 3D view. I'm gonna select the text. I'm just gonna move it in place so it makes sense right here. Okay, so I think the text needs to scale, so I'm gonna scale it up. Okay, what else can we do to make this a little bit more interesting? I think I could stand stand the eye up. Let's do that. So I'm just gonna press seeing that's all one object, I'm coming in here and I'm pressing L to select each element, and I'm gonna press P now to separate it, and I'm gonna select the object. Now I would like the center point to be on this plane, so I select the plane, go shift S and cursor to selection, right? Tab out of that, and then I assigned my you could tell the object center to go to the cursor, right? So let's see, set origin, right? Geometry to origin, origin to geometry, origin to 3D cursor. So I assigned a key to that, which is insert, the insert key. That's what I did. So I have that. So I'm gonna rotate that. I'm just gonna go R for rotate. Rotate along the X, press X, and then type 90. So that's my rotation there for that. So before we even do all of that, I'm just gonna put it back, and let's just separate all the rest of the stuff. Let's do the S, and then we can arrange everything after, right? I'm gonna separate the S, select it. Remember with L, P, right? And let's just put the cursor right here. Shift S, cursor there, and then I assign my thing there. Let's do the same thing with this one. This time I'm going to select these two edges right here. The cursor between those, cursor between selected, and then press insert. Alrighty, so I got each of my letters done. I'm going to press S for save. Now I'm just going to give this a little bit of thickness, right? So we could do that by, you could go in and extrude each thing, or you could actually come into the modifier here, and you could go give it like a solidify modifier, and just off the bat, that to me that looks pretty nice. That'll solidify, but let's just make sure everything is even thickness, because if you don't know even thickness, right here you see it kind of like look like it's tapering. So I'm just gonna press even, and it's all even. Okay, and let's see, where do you want the offset? So let's do 0. The offset is going to be like that, or you could go minus 1, which is on more on the inside. I like this. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to select this one, and then this last, and then I'm going to go let's see, shift I. Oh, that's the wrong one. Let's go shift L, alt L, and we're going to link the modifier, copy modifiers. Okay, and the modifiers is copied to the rest of these. Now we're looking over here to see how this looks. So this is what we're going for, this kind of stylized text right here. Okay, now let's go into shading. So let's save all this. You could go one step further and really try to like really nicely bevel everything, but let's not do that right now. Let's go into strict let's get shading, some shading happening to all this. I think my camera needs to move over this a little bit, so I'm gonna go Shift F. I'm just gonna move my camera just a little bit to there. Let's go a little bit closer. A little bit of something like that. Shift. Okay, that's cool for now. We could always adjust tweak the cameras later. Okay, so now I'm gonna jump into the shading tab here. Okay, and let's turn this view into this view right here. And let's stick with an Eevee renderer for now. So for right now, everything looks a certain way. So what we're gonna do, we're gonna add some materials. So let's see here. If I scale down, we know that the cube is the room. So we're gonna add a material. Go new, material to the cube. Let's not add any light as of yet. Actually, let's see. Let's add a little bit of. Let's leave it as default. All right. So we're adding a material. Let's call this room. All right. And color, I'm gonna change this to black to get something like that. That's fine. And this is where some of the cool texting is going to come in. We're going to add, let's see. Let's turn the specularity down on that, the roughness down on that, the tint, nothing. We just want pure black room for now. You could turn the roughness down. You could turn the specularity up, I think. That's fine. You could work like that, but let's just make it like this for now. You could basically have it in a black background, but I have the room in there just to see what happens, right? So let's see what options we have. So when you turn the Eevee renderer on, you have to remember that there's more options here. So we're just going to go into the options part here. Oops, sorry, that options right here. So Eevee rendering properties. We're gonna go turn the ambient occlusion on, and all of a sudden, bam, you could see some definition going on there, right? And there's a bunch of other things other than ambient occlusion. There's the depth of field. So let's turn screen space reflections on, and let's turn the half off, and let's turn it all the precision all the way up, and let's just leave this like this for now. Okay, so what we're gonna do now, we're gonna like start adding, I wanna add a gradient to this. So let's add a material, call this text. Okay, so we're gonna add like a ramp. Okay, just simple ramps. That's what we're gonna do for now. I'm just gonna add the ramp to the color base of this. And let's see what else can we add to this. Let's add a mapping node, vector mapping. Let's see what the ramp does so far. Doesn't do too much, right? So see, vector mapping is into the factor, right? Now let's see how we getting this done. So let's bring up another geometry node. What we want is a texture coordinate. which this is what generator gives you. This is what normal gives you. So let's put two colors in here. So let's leave black and let's make this like a pink. And we'll see what these things give us. Right, UV, we don't have any UVs. Object is the object. Data. Okay. Let's try object. Let's put an object here. So with this, we have the cursor, press shift C to bring the cursor in the middle, and let's make an object. The object that we want is like an empty, right? And here in the properties over by the empty, you can make it like a cube. Let's make the cube small. Let's go 0.5, right? And this should control the gradient. All right, so let's go here and let's choose the object. So we could call the empty UV. Let's select the thing back and go into object here and look for UV, select it. All right, so according to how this object is how it's going to look. All right, so we could just come out here and just rotate a little bit. Let's grab this and go Z, and let's bring this like to the bottom here. Let's just scale it. Let's scale it like that. Let's scale it downwards a little bit. Grab Z, something like that. I think this is fine. Okay, so let's go back into the thing. So we have the object vector. So I'm thinking, like, if I could remember, is that the location needs to be a little bit different for this stuff to show up properly. So I think this is 0.5, this is 0.5, so 0.5. I think that's how that works. I'm just going to test this a little bit, guys. 0. 0.5. So 0 on that. No 0. 0.5. Let's see, Z is up, X 0. Point vector. Yeah, I think it definitely needs to stay point. UV. Okay, let's check this guy. Oh, let's rotate this guy. Rotate. Yeah, so when you rotate this guy, you get different, you get the properties working like a different way and all that sort of stuff. Let's just apply rotation scale of this guy. Okay, he's back in action. Let's go grab Z. Okay, so you see how this guy kind of controls the way this works. So let's just apply the same material to these others. So we select this one, and then select that one last, and then go Control L, and then we're gonna do link materials. So let's see. Let's scale this one this way. Let's bring him this way. Let's grab. Let's scale this one. Let's scale it the other way also on the y-axis. Make sure we cover the logo a bit, or the text. So, right, just do something like this. Make sure it's all inside. Okay, so we got the UV all inside here. Let's sort this out here. So there's a little weird thing going over the rotation here. Let's go 0 here again. Let's go 0. Let's do 0.5 here. Let's go 1 there. Okay. Scale. It's a scale 0.5. That's what I have to remember. Scale is on 1. 1. Okay, let's rotate this a bit. I'm gonna rotate this on the X. Yeah, we definitely get some interesting shading here, but let's try to get this a little more predictable. Go 0 like that. Okay. -10. Do something like that. I don't know why it's kind of teeter-tottering kind of slightly off, and it could be just maybe with these texts you just select all of them and just apply transforms. That might actually help. Let's do that. You know, but I'm trying to get my gradient as straight as possible, so you could even go constant. Yeah, see if we get a line like that and try to straighten that line out. So that's okay. And let's put it back to a regular linear. Okay. Alright guys, so we have something like this. I gotta sort that out. That's my bad there with that. But hey, we're having fun, right? Okay, so this is what we're doing. Let's go back. Boom. Okay, so now we got this. Let's turn the lights down in the world. So we go back here into the world, instead of gray, we turn it all the way black, right? What I'm gonna do, I'm gonna take this color and plug that into the emission. There you go. See that? Let's turn the emission strength just a little bit. Let's turn the color, the lighting up just a little bit, so we get some definition happening. Do something like that. Turn the emission up a little bit more. So this is pretty interesting that we get something like this. And let's bring the colors back like so. Right, and we don't want any roughness, and we don't want any specularity on this. At least not as of yet. And I want to use a B-spline. I think the B-spline is might give you a little smoother results. Okay. So let's see what we could do here. If we could add some funky colors to this. Okay, let's make this not so. Let's add a third option in here. That's interesting, right? Oh, here I go with the green again, right, guys? Let's see what linear does. Let me go back into linear. Yeah, lenses are harsh, B-spline, content. Let's see cardinal. Wow. Yeah, I think B-spline is definitely the way to go for these like little intricate things. Let's change this color here to something instead of, let's do this. Let's go blue. That's kind of nice. Here we go. All right, let's see what else we could do, right? Yeah, let's keep the edge like this. Let's bring the edge a little, let's make the edge a little hotter. Like so. Something like that. You can kind of read it a little bit. Let's see what else we could add to this. Let's add a pointiness node. We got a geometry node. Geometry. And let's see what pointiness does to this instead. If I go pointiness, and let's add it to the factor. Let's see what happens here. Doesn't do too much because you need more like of an edge. Let's go true normal. Ooh, true normal gives you like a definite like top or a definite bottom to that. Let's go normal. Basically the same thing. So let's do this. Ooh, the tangent. Tangent even gives you something even nicer. So this is what we're gonna do. We're gonna play with this. So we're gonna use this as the base right here. I'm gonna come over so. And I'm gonna make a duplicate of this. And I'm gonna use something like the tangency. We're gonna change the color of that. We're gonna mix this. So I'm gonna go and get a mix. Yeah, I'm gonna get a mix. That's A. And let's get the color here for the B. Let's change the color of this right here. Let's go yellow. Can we go light blue also? Ooh, you're getting something happening. Let's try the normal. Color, let's do that. Yeah, we're using the color. So A and B. Oops, let's just see what this looks like. We gotta see the result. We're not viewing the result right now. Let's do that. Okay, here we go. Alrighty. Factor. Alright, so what we wanna do, we wanna... Okay, so that's playing into there. See that tangency again. Oh, look at that. Let's do the object mapping, but flip it. No, I wouldn't flip it. Let's see. Object mapping. See what this does. Yeah, because it's overlaying the two sets on top of each other. Put this back here like so. This is doing it based upon the position of the camera, which is pretty interesting. You could add some interesting effects. So let's turn this into like an orange or something. Right, and we don't want to factor so much, so this is original without the amount of factors, clamp results. And let's just give it a little something. Something like so. Let's put this into factor and see what we get. Factor is interesting that way. Let's see the factor this way also. It gives it a nice, a little bit of a difference. So let's go with yellow here. If I go white, what would that do? Wow, that's interesting. Incoming, let's see what the incoming looks like. True normal. Tangent. Yeah, the tangent is pretty nifty, it's not bad. Back facing. But there's nothing back facing in here, so it won't do its pointiness. It's interesting. Let's try that position again. Let's give this a different color up here. Yeah, I like that. Okay guys, so we got something happening here. Just screwing around and trying to have a little bit of fun. Let's see if we can control the emission strength with a gradient, with a ramp. Let's make a new ramp. Let's go here. I'm gonna feed this into here. Oops. Let's go something like this. So we got one ramp here for one color, something different for a different set of stuff that's coming in. And let's just get one that controls the strength. Color, and let's go into strength. Okay, so I'm gonna go white. Right, white means a lot of strength. Right? A lot of strength for this. It's like this one, delete that, so it's black and white. Okay. So the black is not much strength, you know, in terms of the emission. I mean, black is a strong color, of course. Let's keep it like that. Let's go like this. Completely emissive. Something like that. Let me turn this to linear and see what I got. Okay, I think this might be a little bit more of a tighter and not as yeah, there you go. So what can we do with this? Let's select our cube room again. Let's just call this room. Instead of black, let's give it a white. See what we get. So let's go back. So let's go to black. Go black, and let's turn the specular back up 0.5. All right, and let's do the roughness. Make it pretty rough. Turn the specularity down just a smidgen. Okay, so let's see how this text looks when we use cycles. That's the question. How does it look in cycles? So let's select here, EV, go to cycles, and here you go. That's it. That's it in cycles. No, with cycles, doing some of the rendering now. With cycles, you get all sorts of stuff. So let's turn off the noise threshold here. Right, in the viewport, you could turn that all the way down to go to 64. Even hit a denoise on it. Let's see what the room looks like if we make it white. See that? See how the text all of a sudden lights up the room enough. That's kind of what some of the stuff we were going for. That's the roughness. Turn it all the way rough. So not make it so rough. Because there's a little bit of reflectance, so 0.9. Turn the specularity down or up, doesn't matter. Turn the specularity, let's leave it 0.3. Is there any metallicness to this box? There could be. Let's turn the metallicness way down. Okay, so this is what we're getting here. So let's play around with this. So you say, Nick, what do you mean by play around with it? You could now play around with the text. So you could split, remember how we split it last time? You hold the top corner here and you move it over. Let's just zoom this guy up here. And we could take away all the little extra elements and just make this just an image here by itself. Right? Room base color, let's bring the base color black to kind of like a black. Turn the roughness down just a smidgen. Let's turn the metallicness down a bit. Turn the specularity up to 0.5. If you turn the roughness down, that's what you get. Turn the roughness back up. Here we go. Alright, so now in this view here is our 3D view. You press 5 to get back a good angle. Let's screw around with this text, right? Um, let's see. Let's rotate X 90. That's interesting. Let's grab Z, bring it down to the floor. Grab Z. Yep. Ooh, it looks really small. It's not high enough, so let's go here, go to vertex mode, press Z for wireframe, select all these vertices right here, and we're gonna bring it up to height. It actually is kind of like to height right here. I want to bring it up so that the, so that it floats. And we're just looking at the stuff here, right? So grab Z. I'm gonna bring this up to like about this height, right? And we can't really read the eye, so we're gonna push the eye back. Grab, push the eye. Whoop, not that way. Grab Y and push the eye this way. So the eye comes back to like about so. Okay. Let's see, what can we do with this X? Let's just move him around. Can we lift the X up? X. And I'm just pressing the different shortcuts in Blender here. 90. Can we bring it over here? Would that make sense? Ooh. Let's bring this back down, grab Z. You know what? And we could bring this, grab this guy, bring this guy back down like so. There you go. We could actually make the X a little bit shorter. The thickness. So this is like really playing with dimensions and that kind of thing. But before we do that, let's just scale it up to bring it up to the height of the S. Now let's play with that dimension, bro. Let's just move it away. Grab X, bring it like about so. Now I'm gonna bring the X in. Grab. I'm gonna select the vertices on that face and just gonna bring it in like so. Let's make it as thick as that. What if we rotate it at the odd angle? Something like that. I don't think the X reads that well like this. Let's just see. Let's just move this around. Okay, let's put it back on the ground. Like so. Let's just fix this. Grab Z. Alright. How about the S? Let's do that to the S. Rotate X 90. S 90. Let's rotate this. Rotate Z 90. Oh. Okay, here we go. This might work. Let's scale it up to right here. Okay, let's scale it along here. Maybe we could scale along the eye a bit. Oh, nope, I like the eye like that. Maybe just need to scale down a scooch. Let's see what's going on with the X to the top view. X could be scaled up a smidgen. Okay, let's bring everything back on that red line there. Maybe everything needs to come back on. Let's see if we can scale that this way. I'm pressing S to scale and then pressing the axis on which I want to scale it, which is like a Y or something like that. I'm gonna put my screencast right here in this view. There you go. Screencast. I'm just in wireframe here. Okay, let's bring this guy in. Technically, you could select this, this, and this in Blender and bring those on the same level. But I'm not gonna do that. You know, that could create a whole host of you know, different things you need to consider, problems and stuff. Let's see, okay. So this is the X. Let's bring this guy up, grab Z. There we go. Right, so I think this is looking like something is happening here, guys. So what we could do, we can make sure these are somewhat evenly spaced. Grab in this view here. Grab. I'm just gonna use a grid. The grid lines just to kind of give me, you know, like how the spacing should be, kind of. Maybe like 2. Yeah, it wants to be 2. Grab. Okay. It wants to be 2 spaces apart. Let's look at another view. Okay, that looks great. That also looks great. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna grab these right here and just go grab X. I'm gonna bring these to the middle of that cursor, the S to the middle of that cursor. And then I'm gonna scale according to the cursor where the cursor is. So 3D cursor. Right, you're going to scale and press S, and it's going to scale it to the cursor. Like so. Now we could play with this. We could still rotate it like so and do stuff to it. I'm just going to move it around. Place it somewhere a little bit nicer. Something like that. And we could place it up in that corner. The next thing we could do also is to adjust this box scale. X, bring everything in. Make sure it encompasses the text. Grab Z. scale that. Scale that on the z-axis. Yep. So this box here is kind of like our UV. Is like our UV space. Just telling it, hey, the gradient should fit between here and here. That's kind of what we're doing. Let's scale that Y again. I mean on the Z. Okay, let's go to the top. Scale. Just I kind of want to fit it. Want everything to fit inside of this UV box a little bit, so to keep things nice and kind of clean. Okay. So look at this right here. Let's go back to this material right here with the XSI, and let's select the gradient, the mapping, and and the texture coordinate, and let's Control C to copy it, and let's click on the box and go to the material box, and let's press Control V. Oh, we only brought one in. Let's try it again. Select that, shift select these, copy. You shift select in the texture coordinate, the mapping, and the color ramp, and then we're gonna go back onto the box. Like so, and let's do Control V. Okay, so let's plug this straight into the diffuse and see what we get. The diffuse of the box, the base color. Okay, so immediately you can see where only the things in that right here is being affected. What I'm gonna do, I'm gonna just extend this up a bit, and I'm gonna let this kind of melt into that a bit, right? Gonna do the same thing for the specularity of this. So all of a sudden you see like and let's try using a B-spline to smoothen it out some. Yep, looks great. And let's do the same thing with the roughness. Let's remove the roughness and see what we get. It's a little sharper without it. It's a little more blurred with it. Okay, so we just kind of create like it's sinking. I'm gonna do that just so, like so nothing kind of comes through there. No clear coat. And I'm just gonna extend this up a bit. Let's bring this back down a smidgen. Okay. And let's control how much is. Okay, so let's see. Let's remove that for the roughness. Okay. So yeah, we should be able to control the roughness separate. Specularity, metalness, specularity tint. Yep, and that's the roughness. Let's do something like that. So yeah, guys, so let's go back into this material. Can we add more green to this? Screen, then we have a mix. Oh, the mix. Yeah, let's do the mix instead. Yep, mix, giving more, a little more green in there. Mm-hmm. Kind of liking that. All right, so we did some little kind of funky typography things here, and let's hide the room and see what it looks like without it. Oh, I'm seeing like I want some sort of transparency, so let's fix that. It's the environment, so the environment color, let's bring that down to black. Let's put the room back. There you go. Without the room. Looks good either way to me. So let's see, let's change this color right here. Ooh. That almost completely changes everything. Interesting. It's to do with the mixings and the different factors and the strength and all that sort of stuff. So if I use this as a factor instead. Okay, so we got a different thing. Okay, I like the way that looks. So let's see if we could center this a little bit more. I'm gonna press F. I'm just gonna disregard the room and center that. I'm gonna rotate it actually a little bit. Okay, I think because I have Eevee rendering on the CPU, it's doing some funky stuff. So let's jump onto the GPU, which is a lot quicker. And here we go. All right, so you could tweak some colors. It doesn't have to be like pink. It could be like a peach. Peach is in, right? We could use a little bit of it, not too much. We could come back down to here. We could change that blue to like a different kind of blue. Something like that. Ooh, so if we put pointiness in there, it tries to take over. Yeah, you could play with this, guys. You could go in there and do a bunch of other stuff. Let me see. If I turn up specularity, start to want to be specular and all that sort of stuff. What if I add in a light? Let's add a point light in. Grab Z. Now bring this to the top. This is a point light directly above. So if I select this guy, now you could do a bunch of different shadings and stuff like that. So let's turn this back down. Let's shade with a different material. Let's come in here and let's make a new shader. Let's try glass. See what glass. If you just throw glass in there, what happens? It's pretty interesting if you just threw glass in there. Would that get something like this? Sharp glass. Oh yeah, and then see with glass here. Let's try a mix shader. All right. Drop the glass on that. What other shaders we have? Shader, glossy shader. Might be a little bit better. I think I'm looking for more of a glossy shader than a glass shader. There we go. Well, that's glossy. Turn down that put that there. Drop some gloss on there. Ooh, it doesn't like that as a factor. Let's bring a little gloss as a factor. Make it a little bit more. There we go. And it's all controlled by this light. So if we bring the light a little more to the front. Go. Let's see what the properties of this light is. Power, bounce, radius. Let's make the radius larger. Okay, there we go. Oh man, just playing around with this thing. It's a lot of fun. Yeah, this has some roughness in there and all that sort of stuff. Let's go something like that. Alright guys, enough screwing around. So yeah, so that's basically it. So, you know, we've been playing with you know, some text here in Blender. We kind of did, you know, some funky shader on it and some funky modeling. You know, this was fun. This is xsinick. You know, next time I come back, you know, we're gonna probably get into some actually 2D drawing, some 2D art, some anatomy and that kind of thing. So thanks for joining me. It's been a lot of fun. And hey, you know, let's continue to work towards, you know, being creatively positive. And I'll see you later. Thanks for joining me.